Yo. So we're getting started here. Welcome to episode 1 of the Worthybody Podcast. Put a lot of work into this, getting everything started. There's more to it than you think. And first of all, just thank you guys for tuning in. And this is my boy Jay.
What up? What up? How everybody doing?
It's episode 1, so we'll start with a quick little intro of you, like who you are, tell the people what you do. Jay's like my little brother. We met. How old were we when we met?
Dude,
I don't really know.
we moved in 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
And then probably met 2 years after that.
Yo.
Something it was probably
It was
early, 2003, I would say.
Yeah.
I was five. We were 5 or 6. I was 5 or 6. So I was young, really, really young. Back when the neighborhood wasn't even developed yet at that point.
I know.
But,
So we basically played sports together, did everything together. I mean, people thought we were brothers. We're actually not brothers.
yeah.
His cousin is my roommate, and then we all just basically became best friends. But so when everything got started, I think you knocked on my door or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we just went from there.
Our dads also had a conversation. I learned about that.
They had a conversation?
Yeah, when we first moved in, they apparently coming when we were moving in and getting the house built. My parents saw that you lived up here, and I think my dad saw your dad, and I don't know for sure. I don't know if the facts on this, but I'm pretty sure your dad also peeped that we were moving in, and had a man-to-man conversation with my dad about I guess moving into the neighborhood and stuff like that.
That black dad conversation.
Yeah, it's one of those. I'm pretty sure that happened. I learned about that pretty recently. I think
it's crazy your parents would not tell you stuff, and then you just later, after the fact. But after that, we went to high school together for 1 year.
1 year, this man would drive me to school.
Yeah.
Left me a couple times because I was late, but he's a good dude. He would drive me to class in the morning. That was nice. We had some rides in the morning.
Almost died in
your truck, dude.
I don't think that the driving age to drive. I don't think it should be 16 years old. I really don't. I think that's too young.
Yeah.
Think about what I did on the road when I was 16, racing, just reckless driving, trying to drift when I saw Tokyo Drift for the first time. It was just why, and now when I see these children, because I'm 25 now, I had to think about it. I'm 25. How old are you?
22, man.
22. So
I turned 23.
A 16-year-old person, I think it's wrong. I think it should be 18. That's just my thoughts on it. Mm-hmm. But so Jay left, and he went to a private school.
Yeah.
Was it your sophomore year?
Sophomore year. I did my freshman year at Daniel Boone, where we went. And then I transferred into the Hill School as a sophomore, which is a private school about 15 minutes from where we live.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, growing up here, I went to Daniel Boone, all my life, and I was with them all my life, all the kids in my grade. And I was lucky enough, I liked that I stayed an extra year because I applied my freshman year. I don't know if you knew. I applied freshman year, but I didn't get accepted. But, looking back on it now, I'm kind of happy that happened. I was able to have a year in public high school and with my friends and kind of make those connections and kind of strengthen those connections from middle school to high school.
Just give me a little bit of some background. Jay went to the Hill School. It's one of the most prominent schools, I would say, in the country. I don't know if I'm gassing, but
no, yeah.
One of the most. I think didn't Donald Trump go there or something like that?
His son.
His son.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eric.
Okay. And you didn't get in when you first applied. Mm-hmm. So this for the viewers, how did you deal with that rejection? How did that make you feel, and how did you get through it? You know what I mean?
Oh, I was upset, dude. For a while, I was dang, I put a lot of time into this. Growing up, I had a bunch of camps there, so I'm seeing the campus, and I'm I really had told myself, oh, you're gonna go here. You're gonna commit yourself to going here. Yeah. So getting a rejection letter because my at first my test scores weren't as good as I wanted them to be. I found out that I got rejected, and I was like, dang, like now I gotta go, back to Boone. Now I'm like, am I going to be able to go to this place that I had already told myself, Jay, you're going here, So it's like I was set on that. So I think I got my hopes really, really high, but it was tough for a while. But I said, if it was meant to be, it'll be. Like I'll get there. When I get there, I'll stick with it. I'll apply next year. I'll be able to go do my freshman year out, and I'll apply next year and see what happens. And then freshman year was great. Like I had so much fun my freshman year at Boone. Like being with the kids in my grade, all my boys, like that was fun. Being able to play sports with you guys.
That first year.
That first year, because I was always like trying to like catch you guys. So being a freshman and be like in high school with like my older brothers, it's cool. I get to play basketball, get to play football, get to run track with you guys. The morning drives, like that was fun. Just like having another year closer to all the guys I grew up with was fun. So like it turned out to be fine, but I was definitely like down for a little bit. I was hurt. I admit
it
I was
happens,
hurt.
man. It happens. Like I've noticed that sometimes things they're not gonna work the first time you try something new. It could be. I mean, for me, like the first time I took the SATs, bruh, I did so bad. I did so bad. No, like I don't even remember what score I got, but it was below average.
Yeah,
like it was so, and I had to go take classes. I felt embarrassed, and I don't really talk about this much, but since we're on the podcast, I gotta let it be. So like when I was coming up, especially in middle school, I had an issue with reading. Okay. And I had to take like reading. I don't know why I'm laughing. I had to take like reading classes, and before it was always a class before lunch in middle school. So my friends would be like, "Oh, where you going? Like what class you got?" I'd be like, "Oh, I got gym." And I would just be lying and just go to the reading class. And ever since then, I was like, "Yo, I can't read that well." Now I just couldn't. So when it comes to like long form tests and the standardized tests, there's always like a reading section. Yeah. But the problem with me was I read so slow.
And it was the timing thing.
It was the timing.
Oh, dude.
So I couldn't. So by the time they'd be like, "You got 5 minutes." I couldn't find the answers and all that stuff. And I got through it. Long story short, I got through it. When I got to college, and I had a book report due, and I procrastinated before it could even be done. I had one day to read it, and I was like, "Wow!" I always told myself I read so slow. Mm-hmm. But then it hit me. I was like, "Yo, I watch anime all day, and I read them subtitles dumb fast." Yeah. So I read the book in one day. Like it took me like 2 hours to read the book. It was only like maybe 200 pages, but I read it in a few hours.
We just had to like kind of like frame it in that mind of like
I can't read.
You can't do it. Of course you can read, but like
obviously I can read, bro. And I think for some people, whether it be fitness, learning, whatever it could be, sometimes you have a limiting belief, and that limiting belief doesn't have to stay with you your whole life. And those failures can take you to different places, even though it might not look good now. And I graduated from college, 3.0, everything was fine. Once I got out of that mindset, like, bro, you can read, man. It sounds so slow, bro. But it's cool. We got through it. And I don't know, that's triggered some of my mind to tell that story. But I think a lot of people, again, they don't know what they're capable of.
That's true.
And it's hurting the world, bro.
Yeah.
I'm clipping that. That's too funny, bro. My friends, I told them to make fun of me now too. They're like, "Yo, bro, can you read?
You can read that? Yeah. Yo, you can read this real quick for me?
Bro, it's ridiculous, bro. Nah. It's crazy. So back onto it. So do you think like you've been to a public school and you've been to a private school?
Yeah.
In the term of high school, what do you think is better? What do you think works better for people? In general.
I can't answer that for all people. I feel like I can't answer that for all people. I mean,
that's so true.
It depends on where you live. It depends. There's like, public schools now that are pretty much private schools with how much money is in certain areas and whatnot. And I mean, the difference is that you got, the pay, you got to pay for it. It's a money aspect about it. So like, that's one thing that's kind of, people have to consider. I think personally for me, the Hill School has benefited me tremendously with the connections I've made, with the teachers that I'm still in contact with just the opportunities of meeting people and just going and like broadening my spectrum of like who and the type of people that I interact with now. And I think it's grown, for me, it's allowed me to express myself of like how I can network and talk to people and just kind of like flow in conversation and like where I've met so many different types of personalities, so many people at Hill, and I think that's helped me going to college where it's somewhere brand new. You know, I lived at Hill for 3 years, so like the boarding aspect of it like helped with college. You know, going into college, I was like, I've already lived in the dorm for,
that is true,
3 years, so I already knew how to do it, knew how to have a roommate for the first time, and like I think that helped. You know, in high school, I'm thinking I wanted to do, be pre-med and whatnot, and I felt that Hill was a better opportunity in terms of getting to a more prestigious college and trying to, follow that track. I felt that, like, not talking, I don't want to talk bad about public school because you can still do that in public school. I know people who go amazing places out of public school. I just think personally for me, my journey going through Hill and why I did it was beneficial for me, and I think it's still holds true now.
I mean, there's always two sides to a story. And what is that in your shirt, bro?
I don't know, bro.
A little bit of dust. I don't know.
I guess so. We got all this chalk over here.
Yeah, that's
my
bump.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people would say like the private school kids, even at LaSalle, you could sometimes tell, but he's a private school kid. This is the way he acts, when he carries himself.
I get that a lot.
What's the word? Like they call it posh, like a posh person.
Posh.
I could be saying that wrong.
Yeah, I don't know if I heard about that.
It's kind of like uptight, like stuck up, kind of like a rich kid. The rich kid bias.
Mm-hmm.
But then the public school kids, they might be a little more rowdy. And like, that's a public school kid. So you can look at it either way you want to look at it. Obviously, everyone's different. You can't generalize any person until you actually get to know them. But for me personally, I think a public school, it taught me grit. It taught me the way, like, ain't nothing gonna be given to me. No one's gonna help me. Some of my teachers were not the best. I'm gonna say this in the nicest way possible. I don't think they prepared me in any way, shape, or form. But some teachers did, though, and they stuck out to me.
Okay.
And they guided me on that path, and I had to spend extra time with them, learn from them, and go to the people that I could actually learn from. So I think public school and the difficulties of it will help you navigate through life in corporate America. Because like when you're working there, as I work in tax now, you have to know who to go to get the answer. Even if it might not be your direct superior, you got to go somewhere else. Who's the expert on this? Who can I learn from the best? And I think in public school, if you're about it, you can learn that, which I think is very, very valuable. Again, we don't really know which one is better or worse, but these are definitely things you can make it from any situation.
I can piggyback off of that because, like I said, I'm happy that I was able to do my freshman year at Boone, in a public setting, because once I was graduating Hill, and once I got a little older, I started to see certain things and certain lines that, like, in public school, it prepared you better than Hill did in terms of just, like, not being in a Hill. There was a bubble. It was a bubble, dude. It was like, because there you have kids who are there and all they know is private school. And, like, everything, it's like, you're very, very, like, not everybody's like this, but you're very like they call us like prep school kids. You're very preppy. We're very like dad, mom pay for everything. Everything's handed to us. Everything's like we feel that we're better and such. Which I don't think everybody feels like that. There are few people who do, but. Like, there's this bubble that this feels like you're protected by this, by this school, by this institution at all times, which is not true. There's stuff, like, once you get to the real world that you'll see that Hill can't protect you from, especially being a black male within a predominantly white institution. That at Hill, it's like, yes, it's in high school, and most of the time those conversations you see a lot in college when, people grow and they talk about it more. Yeah. But just being a black man at Hill, you can kind of see that there's certain things that Hill does not prepare you for. They're trying. They're trying. They're making, steps now to try and make that a precedent and make that important. But it's hard to start and get it right. And I think that being in public school, you can kind of feel it more. You experience like how we're not in a bubble. We're more connected to the real world. You can't really hide from certain things that are happening in the world. And I think that, you know what I mean? Like, even though Hill, there are like, I think they say like 29 different countries represented in like 47 states or 30 something states that are represented at Hill. Yeah. But
and what do you mean represents? What do you mean?
Meaning that like there's kids from PA, from Delaware, from California, from Kansas,